As I do the roll call, if you could please answer present or here. Mr. Pete Chris,
Here.
Mr. Molina,
Present.
Mr. Ron Berg,
Here.
Mrs. Sandra Bowen.
Present.
Okay. Let the record reflect that we do have quorum. And agenda item number 2 will be our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Mr. Burke, if you will lead us in the pledge of allegiance after our invocation. Our invocation will be conducted by Pastor Matt Moreno with BT Church. Thank you so much and welcome. If we can all stand.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Let's pray. Father God, we just thank you first and foremost for you, Lord. We thank you for your son, Jesus, Lord. We just come before you, Lord, and we ask that you would take direction of this meeting, Lord, of this council and the mayor, Lord, that may we remember that every decision we make and everything we do is to glorify you, Lord, and not ourselves. And so, God, I pray right now, God, and I'm thankful that we can see our city growing, Lord, new businesses opening up, God, these homegrown businesses growing up too, Lord. And so I pray that you would continue to just bless our city, Lord, continue to lead us forward. May we always come together for unity, Lord, as we push forward. God, we thank you for keeping our city safe over these past few days. God, we're thankful for our first responders and all their hard work that they do. Lord, we ask that you bless this meeting today. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Would you please face the flag? I pledge allegiance to the
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Okay. Okay. Agenda item number 3, public comments. We don't have any official public comments. We will go with our council members. Mr. P. Chris.
And none at this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem,
I have
Mr.
none at
Molina.
this time. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Ron Berg.
None at this time.
Mrs. Bowen.
Just to thank all of our first responders for coming out and doing what they do best, is protect our citizens. And, you know, we're so blessed to have you in our community, each and every single one of you. So continue to do a good job, and we love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. I also wanted to thank all our firefighters and our police department and all the surrounding local fire departments that did come to assist, and all the volunteers. And also a special thanks to the Texas A&M Fire Service that assisted us in containing the fire and battling that fire. I just can't thank everyone enough for that. And y'all were so awesome. I'm looking at you, Patrick, because you're here, but your team and everybody that came together, thank you so much. Our residents, I know you kept them all safe, so thank you. Thank you. Mr. Eden, he's back there, so doesn't see me. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to just announce to the public is, if you have a chance to go to our website, we have posted some of the safety tips that the state SOC sent out, and they're posted on there in reference to fires. Make sure that well, the tips are there. I don't want to go through all of them, but if you want, please, especially right now, because there's some warnings because of the weather conditions, the winds, the dry grass, and also, please visit the website. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 4, our city manager and staff reports. City manager updates regarding ongoing sidewalk improvements, downtown public parking, historical marker on East Highway 44, Alice Fire Department celebrating with Noonan Elementary, striping on Texas Boulevard, and Building and Standards Commission, vulture control, pipeline emergency response training. Mr. Esparza.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Wanted to show you some of the things that we've been posting on social media to kind of let the public know of the things that we've been doing. There's some things that you mentioned, and we'll go through. You know, last time we talked about the vulture control. I do want to point out, so we're contracting with Eddie Pettis to do some photos. So all these photos are done, and he's back there. Eddie, you want to come out for a second?
Welcome, Eddie.
Yeah,
He's done a great job. So
yeah,
welcome.
he's available for us, and he goes out there, takes pictures as we're doing the project, and he's really talented with the camera, and so we utilize his skills, and he's helping us a lot on the social media side. So between Eddie and Nellie and Odie, we were able to get information out, something that we're needing to do a better job of, and we have since Eddie's been with us. So thanks, Eddie. There you go. So that's part of our vulture control, and I was talking to Director of Public Works. Where is Demetrio? He's out there somewhere. We may have to do that again because those vultures came back pretty quick, so it may take a couple of rounds of doing that, but we're going to let the public know if that happens. Next, we did do refurbishing of the starting blocks of the Natatorium. They hadn't been touched in a long time, and so we were able to get that done. We did have our first Building and Standards Commission meeting in a while, so that was filled. And that's some striping on Texas Boulevard. And we started our striping program again. The weather gets good, we're able to do that just like the street repairs that we're doing. We went to the airport from there and did some striping, working on a helicopter landing area. We have a lot of refueling from helicopters and halo flight as well that happened at the airport. And Sane Drive got started today, so there's a lot of striping going on. And that's our street crews that are doing that. Fire department went over to Noonan School for Dr. Seuss's birthday. They're out and about quite a bit, so we're going to start showcasing when our police and fire go out to some of these schools. That's I think it was about a year and a half ago. That's a historical marker there. The original land grant to the Marcelino Lopez family. That's right on the east side of town, close to our north side wastewater treatment plant. And so that was getting overgrown, so our crews went out there and cleaned up that area real nice. And that's as you're driving in from Corpus Christi, it's there to your right side. That's a letter we got out, a couple of letters letting people know about the downtown sidewalk repairs we were doing. And so that's a letter that we got out, just to let y'all know we are letting the public know whenever we're doing some of these projects that are going to affect people in the area. And so there's been talk about the public parking, about parking downtown. One of the things that I think we wanted to let the people know that there are parking lots 1 block south of downtown. And there's 3 of them. So we put some signage on downtown areas pointing to them. We ordered some signs. Odie got that done really quickly, and our street crews put them up. But there's to let people know that there's free public parking, right south of downtown 1 block. This is going to be an agenda item here. Also, we're real active letting the public know about the building that we own downtown that is for sale for sealed bid. And so we put that on a couple of times. That's showing some of the sidewalk repairs that are downtown that we got started. There's as we're looking at the downtown area, there's a lot of foot traffic, and yes, there's a lot of areas that need sidewalk repairs, and we've been making them over time. We did some on First Street. We did ours right in front of City Hall. We did one of the corners on Third and Aransas, and we're doing some on Luceto. And now we got to downtown, some of the trip hazards that needed to get repaired. And along the way, part of it was some pressure washing that they also were doing on those sidewalks. And that was our fire department attending a pipeline emergency response training and coordination. So part of their ongoing training that we do regularly. So yeah, we sponsored a lunch for Habitat for Humanity. We do that yearly. And they Habitat for Humanity will build homes, and they do a lot for the community. And the other thing is they'll take an empty lot and build a home for somebody, and then for us, that's a home that's back on tax rolls, and so it benefits the entire community.
That's their 19th home in our county.
Wow, yeah, they're real active. And they're going to be coming to us asking for probably, so we may have a couple of lots that they may be able to acquire from us, empty lots. So we got the Health Park security light installed. that was a long time coming. There was some issues with the piping and the size and that, and we were able to get it done yesterday. Odie, was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. As people are aware, we had a pretty big brush fire, about 128 acres on the west side of town, and Texas Forest Service came in, helped a lot, put some fire retardant in the northern part of the fire, but we were able to contain it with the help of a lot of other agencies. And so the fire department and the other first responders did a tremendous job. We had our police department with traffic control and other areas, also other public safety folks in the surrounding area helping. All right. Some of the other things that are on here, but they will be ongoing. This is kind of our first run at this, putting these items and things that we're doing on social media. But we did install new bollards and new car stops at Anderson Park. When right before these bollards were there, I believe years ago they may have been some, but they got removed. And so when you're parking in that south parking lot, nothing prevents a car from going into right in front of where the swings are. And so we got a bunch of bollards. There they are. Okay, we got them installed and painted. And there was also on the north side, once we drive it, we noticed that there was areas that didn't have car stops for some reason. And so we finished those out with car stops, so prevent any cars from getting into the park area. And that park gets a lot of activity. Also, at Lake Finley, we replaced a lot of the boards on the pier, on the deck that's out there. That was done some months back, but want to let you guys know about that. And what we're doing now is cleaning up some of the west area and the overgrown grass and some of the brush that's up there. So that was getting done. And I'll get ahead on this one because we did receive or got grant funding with the help of our police chief, $132,000 from Wyatt Ranches for our police department, and part of that's going to go to 2 new patrol vehicles. And so we went and talked to them and sat with them for about 30 minutes, and they were able to give us money. So that was
great.
pretty nice. And on Public Works, we continue with the landfill Cell F construction. That's going to take a while, and I know Mayor, you had asked about the 4X construction company. We're spending some money on there, and they're getting that done. So it's in process. Sewer line repairs, San Felipe Street, we completed that project. We have Escobar Street, still working on the sewer line project. We're going to be going to Trevino Street. That's another sewer line project. And also King and Aransas is another sewer line project we have in the works. We also have the TxDOT water line project that we're almost ready to get started and break ground and run that line for TxDOT. And we have a raw water line, transmission line from Lake Finley to the water plant that's going to be worked on here in the near future. We did dredging at our water pond at the water plant. So it's our holding tank. So when we put water into, it hadn't been dredged in years. And so the sediment is built up. So, we think we have a big bowl of water. We really don't. And so we started the dredging to remove some of that sludge out there. And a big project that we're going to be working on is a discharge header. This is a little bit technical, but in our water plant, we have it's at least 60-year-old water plant with original parts inside. And there's a discharge header that is going to need some work. So we're going to, with the help of the Alice Water Authority, we're going to be doing some repairs and replacing and have some backups in that system. So that'll be happening in the near future. We're also in the process of getting the elevated storage tanks, which we call water towers, getting them inspected. The original water towers also haven't been a lot done to them except painting and things like that. So they're going to get inspected to see if the lifespan and what needs to be done, and so we can plan for the future on that. And we did start from November till about a week ago is usually when till the end of February. We usually don't do a lot of road work because the weather permitting. You have the cold, you have the hot, you have the water, And so, but we did start with a road that you guys renamed here recently, Finley Drive. It's a small patch. It works for us, a small road, so we zipped that already. You know, we're going to wait for the second layer of the chip seal that's going to go on there. And so we're going to use a contractor for that part. But we did the asphalt zipper. And from there, we're looking at probably going to, we're going to do some road work on Escobar and San Felipe Street. But also, there's a portion of Front Street that may need to get done. And I'm going to get with our streets guys to figure out exactly when we're going to plan on those and get on those. And also, we're going to go to, let me see, I think 3rd Street and Duval we may need to look at. And also going to look at Highland, part of Highland. Highland's a pretty rough street, but some of the utilities are need to be replaced underneath, so those are the ones we won't do it unless the utilities are done, but part of that street has utilities already replaced. So those are the things that we're working on, and we'll give you another update next month.
Well, thank you. That's a lot. Thank you so much. Okay, next agenda item is our consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and voted on separately. Council, before we go and open up 5.1, Mrs. Bowen would be stepping out for this agenda item. Thank you. Due to a potential conflict of interest. Okay. 5.1, discuss, consider, and act upon adopting a resolution regarding civil rights provisions / policies / procedures required under the GLO CDBG MIT grant number 22-085-039-D287. Virginia Street area drainage improvements, and B, authorizing the city manager to sign and implement the policies. 5.2, discuss, consider, and act upon adopting a resolution, A, ratifying the submittal of Homeland Security Grant Program application number 3921504, titled Jim Wells 2021 Operation Stone Garden OPSG for overtime for the police department. B, designating the city manager as the city's authorized official. C, authorizing the city manager to apply for, accept, reject, alter, or terminate the grant on behalf of the city. And D, providing assurance that in the event of loss or misuse of grant funds, that the city will return all funds to the Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, Homeland Security Grants Division. Okay, council?
I was going to ask if we could vote on these separate so that the Councilman Bowen can come back in to vote on the grant, or is it something that I'd like to separate them just because of that?
You all can remove one from the 5.2 from the consent agenda and place it in the individual consideration agenda and then call it first when she comes back to the room. So you can understand, Councilwoman Bowen is just in an abundance of caution, because it's a pretty nebulous conflict that she might have here. It's
Might
already been
have.
granted, but, you know, failure to comply with these rules might affect contract status. And so, with her engineering firm she works for, it's probably best that she be out of the room. But yes, you could act on the consent item, the 5.1, and then move 5.2 to the individual consideration, and then begin with that when she comes back to the room.
Council, I ask that we do that. Mayor,
Okay,
just
do I
because
have,
there's no conflict on that item.
okay, so we have a motion to move 5.2
Yes.
to agenda item number 6 for individual consideration. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. Is that appropriate?
That's appropriate.
Okay,
But we just need to have a vote on it.
yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion passes. We will discuss only, or have in our consent agenda 5.1. May I have a motion?
Motion
For
to
that.
accept as presented.
Okay. Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All opposed, sign. Motion carries. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 6, individual consideration. We will open up with 5.2 as recommended by council. I have read that. Do I need to read it again? Or are we okay like that? Okay.
I think you're okay.
Okay, so 5.2.
Mayor, I make a motion to accept as presented. Second.
Okay, so we have a first and a second on this agenda item. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, 6.1, discuss, consider, and act upon reviewing and awarding bids for the sale of city-owned property known as 304 and 306 East Main Street, Jones Building, Alice, Texas. And council, we did receive some attachments for your review in reference to the bids. Mr. Esparza?
Yeah, so this is a property that we've been working on for a while. We did receive 3 bids. They were due at 10 o'clock this morning. And for your consideration of the 3 bids, the summary is, the first bid is a bid for $501, and the second bid is a bid for $1,000, and the third bid is a bid for $3,000. And they each included some summary of what they plan to do. If you look at the first bid is, of course, all of them understand that they would need to take action as soon as they get it to remediate any of kind of safety issues for the area, which could include boarding up windows and things like that. But aside from that, they gave some time of completion of their projects, and the $500 bid is, I believe, was to make some kind of activity center inside. I think it's in here, let me,
Yeah, set up.
here it is, yeah.
Number 4.
They plan to make it a do-it-yourself project place, wood projects and things of that sort, parties, and those things. And that was a $500 bid. The $1,000 bid is looking like,
That was a 501.
501.
Yes.
yeah. The next bid of $1,000 is to turn it into a luxury lofts on the second floor with casement windows overlooking Main Street, and also having retail space on the first floor, health and beauty salon spaces, looking for maybe a national retailer or a high-end restaurant, something to bring, they're saying, beautification to downtown. And the other bid is a $3,000 bid, and that plans to be a sports bar with billiard tables, multiple televisions around the building, music playing and other guests, and small items available for purchase, such as shirts, caps, promoting the bar and the great city of Alice. And so there are, 3 different types of things, 3 different bids.
Council? Mr. Crisp, do you have any questions or discussion?
Right now, looking at these, I'm just gonna put my 2 cents out there and say that looking at the Rocking Eight services, I like the idea of what they plan on doing with it as a whole. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind the bid from Mr. Flores, but with my 2 cents, I like the idea of the loss with the multiple real retail, maybe a nicer restaurant down there too, to bring something in during the day and in the evening as well. So that's my thoughts on it.
Mr. Molina?
It's a tough one. I kind of agree with Councilman Chris. That's all.
Mr. Burke?
Yeah, in looking at the 3 proposals, I tend to feel that the Rock and Age proposal seems to fit more the concept of the downtown that we kind of envision, and their track record in development as far as construction projects.
Thank you. Mrs. Bowen?
Yes, Rocking H, I'm looking at this one too. I kind of like the time frame as well. And then adding more businesses to downtown is always a plus, you know, for our citizens. So I'm leaning toward Rocking H as well.
Did we, Mr. Esparza, did we put any kind of timelines as far as if, whichever bid is accepted, when they need to start on construction or those type of things?
On any remediation for safety, that would be pretty much immediate once they take possession of it, and they were all called on that by our finance manager. Gabriel talked to them to make sure that they all understood that, but they had different timeframes here on their project. I think one of them was 24 months, one was 30 months, and
One of them's undetermined.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay, council, any other questions or discussion? If there's no other questions or discussion on this agenda item, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
If I may suggest,
Yes.
is that you accept whichever bid proposal that was made to allow the city manager, allowing the city manager to finalize negotiations to sale and to execute a necessary documentation.
Mayor, I make a motion accepting the bid from Rocking H Ranch Services Design and Build, and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and finalize the sale and execute any documents that are required.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, council. Okay, our next agenda item 6.2 is to hear presentation and delivery of City of Alice Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, CAFR, for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021, as presented by Park Fowler and Company. Mr. Esparza.
Mayor and council, so we've been, of course, talking with Park Fowler because they're working on the audit. We were hoping to have it today because this is our March meeting. The audit is actually, would need to be submitted to the city clerk by the end of the month. And so they'll make that deadline, but we'll have the presentation at the April meeting for it.
Okay. Okay.
And when that comes in, y'all will receive a copy of it also, when it comes in from Park Fowler.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you. Okay, 6.3, discuss, consider, and act upon a resolution to rename the Peewee League Field to Rick Del Bosque Peewee League Field. This is brought to us by Councilmember Sandra Bowen and Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Robert Molina.
Okay.
Mrs. Bowen?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and council, I asked to place this agenda item on our agenda along with Councilman Molina's support, there has been an outreach from our community that, that if we could do something to honor Mr. Del Bosque for his dedication to our community's youth and his civic duties as well to the school district and to our city as well, the boards that he had served on in the past. People ask why honor him? Well, besides his dedication to the youth, I would say that it's the engagement that he does. In my eyes, it's not about, what you do it for a living, because he does work for the Boys and Girls Club. It's about the impact that you make doing what you love. And he goes way beyond what he's supposed to do in the community when it comes to his job. So, he's changed lives. He's changed a lot of our youth that's grown up already, and out in the community college and stuff, have come back and they appreciate who he helped mold. A good citizen, somebody who gives back to our community. He taught them respect and leadership, and I can't say, there's so much more. But Mr. Molina, I talked to him about it, and we kind of agree that he is an outstanding citizen in our community. Mr. Molina, you have anything?
Sure. I've known Mr. Del Bosque. I've never called him that. He's always been Rick to me. I've known him for every bit of 40 years. He actually married one of my classmates. Our boys played Peewee, softball, t-ball, all that together, grew up together. He's just always been committed. I think he's been a lifelong citizen here, 60-some years,
Right.
something like that. His resume is just really impressive. I didn't need to read that to know that he's a good guy, and he's committed, and he's an unselfish asset to the community. I consider him a brother, and I'm kind of, partial, obviously, but I do know him, and I do stand for it, or I can speak of his character. And he's just a committed and devoted father, husband, brother, friend. And like I said, he's affected a lot of the lives of the youth here. It's one thing to say, well, I work for the Boys and Girls Club, but you got to be there every day, because there's children that depend on you. I hadn't reached out to him. I just kind of stayed back, and I let all this kind of fall into place, get the petitions and whatnot, or get the signatures. I did reach out to him this afternoon just on the fly. He was over in near Dallas, I think, Midlothian, and I could hear like bats and baseballs in the background. He was doing batting practice or something. And he's always, hey, big guy, what's going on? He always, just a real funny way of doing things. But and then just a testament is, some of the signatures we received outside of the local area was, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, not to mention Virginia, Wisconsin, New Mexico, Mississippi, California, Washington, Georgia, New York, to name a few. He's affected so many lives, and coming from one individual to make that kind of effect on young kids. And I coached youth sports as well, and a lot of boys would come up and hug me, hey coach, this, that, and the other, and it's just nice seeing these gentlemen or these young boys grow up into the gentlemen we see today. And having good role models is always nice to have in the community. So this was kind of an easy one for me here. So absolutely. He did mention to me that he would like youth put in there if he could.
Okay.
So it would be Rick Del Bosque Youth Peewee League. And I said, man, I think everything's done, but we can ask. He said, well, it's the youth that gave me the opportunity to do what I did.
See what I mean?
Some people go down different roads, and this is what he chose. And it's a very endearing passion to guide the youth and be there to direct them in the right way, and to be that example, really, basically, right, to be the role model. So I thank you, Sandra, for doing this.
Thank you.
Mr. Chris?
I'm actually happy to see the petition here. When people have come before us in the past, they just kind of want something done, and I'm like, that's great. I mean, you're a small group, that's fine. I understand that, but we need to know that people want this, right?
me.
So I was real happy to see a petition put forward, and that there was, over 600 signatures, actually, over 600. with the largest portion of them coming from the citizens of Alice. I've known Rick, I've worked with him, my kids have played sports there, and he's not just an organizer of these things, he's part of it. He feels it, he treats every kid like they're his own, and it makes a difference when you bump into somebody who was one of the Boys and Girls Club kids from 30 years ago, or what have you. And, the first thing, that they ask about is, hey, you're from Alice, what about Rick? And it has happened. When you go to, it's funny as it sounds, like places like TML or other places like that, that's the first thing that comes up. Not how's your city doing, something like that. It happened to me. Hey, Boys and Girls Club, Rick, is he still there? Yeah, he's still there, so it's out there, and I appreciate, I believe it was you ladies over here that did the work to put this together for us and be able to present it for them, so thank you. Thank you.
Very easy.
Nice. So, thank you.
Mr. Burke.
Yes, it's a very good gesture for someone who has given so much to the youth of the community.
And Mayor, may I add that I worked on a resolution with the help from Ms. Barbara Reeves and Odie. So if it all goes through, I would like for you to read it for us. I think it'd be nice that the
that's
community
awesome.
hears
Yeah.
the resolution.
Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
And again, I want to thank the community for bringing this forth to our council through the petition, and we heard your voice, and thank you to council for putting this on for consideration. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion on this agenda item.
May I make a motion to approve a resolution to rename the Peewee League Field to Rick Del Bosque Youth Peewee League Field,
Second.
right?
Okay? We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, all opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank
Thank you.
y'all.
Thank you, ladies.
We're gonna end up reading,
I have to, I need to get the resolution. You have it there?
Here.
Right there? Okay,
with the substitution of just adding the youth.
okay. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Alice, Texas, supporting the proposed dedication, renaming Peewee League Field to Rick Del Bosque Youth Peewee Field. Whereas the City of Alice has recently received various requests and support from the citizens of Alice to rename city-owned Peewee League Field located on Adams and Lincoln Streets to Rick Del Bosque Youth Peewee League Field, and whereas the City of Alice desires to dedicate and to rename the Alice Peewee League Field to Rick Del Bosque Youth Peewee League Field, and whereas the City Council of the City of Alice, Texas hereby recognizes the community support in renaming such field in honor of Mr. Rick Del Bosque's contributions to the Alice community and to its youth with his support of the love and need of sports of all form, t-ball, peewee ball, softball, baseball, soccer, and basketball. And whereas the City Council of the City of Alice, Texas recognizes that Rick Del Bosque, a citizen of Alice for over 6 decades, has served and continues to serve the Alice community and its youth, has dedicated his life to mentor and to build lifetime friendships with our youth, their guardians, and with our community, shares the values of leadership, teamwork, kindness, and has helped mold our youth to become upstanding citizens. And whereas Rick Del Bosque's impacts made a difference in not only one child, but hundreds, if not thousands, in our community. And whereas the City Council of Alice, the City of Alice, Texas, recognizes Rick Del Bosque's awards and merits, to and by the City of Alice Mayor's Humanitarian Award given by Mayor Grace S. Lopez, service to Parks and Recreation Committee as president, and that was by Ms. Debbie Harville, Parks and Recreation Director, U.S. Census Chairman for the City of Alice, Key to the City of 2019, given by Mayor Jolene Vanover. B, City of Alice Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year in 2007. And C, House of Representatives Certificate of Recognition as Citizen of the Year. D, Jim Wells County Leadership Certification. And E, Alice Independent School District Alumni of the Year. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Alice, Texas. The City Council does hereby recognize the contributions Rick del Bosque has and continues to make to our community and to our youth. The City Council does hereby acknowledge citizen various requests to rename city-owned Peewee League Field located on Adams and Lincoln Streets to Rick del Bosque Youth Peewee League Field. The City Council is adopting this resolution, does hereby rename city-owned Peewee League Field located on Adams and Lincoln Streets to Rick del Bosque Youth Peewee League Field.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes. Thank y'all for bringing this forth. Okay, now we will move on to 6.4. Agenda item 6.4, discuss, consider, and act upon adopting an ordinance creating the library board and adopting rules.
Mayor and Council, what we included before you is some sample rules and guidelines for a library board that this is part of the charter amendment that was removed from the charter to be able to be created outside of there. And so this is for your consideration. And we have our library director, Yolanda Bueno, here. If you guys have any questions for her on how it's worked in the past, and just trying to keep it similar to how it was.
Okay, council, any questions? Mrs. Bowen?
No, not at this time, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Burke?
No questions,
No?
right?
Okay. Mr. Molina?
That was the reason why we took it out of the charter, right? So we could have that here. Yeah, okay. That's all.
Yeah, no, I think the recommendation from council for the charter was that they're not typically on a charter. Nothing prevents us from having them. And so, yeah, this was,
Mr. Chris?
No, I'm just happy we're getting this thing fired up again. I know we have some people that have applied to get on this thing, so let's get it going.
Okay, no other questions or discussion? I'll consider a motion on this agenda item.
Mayor, I make a motion to adopt an ordinance creating the library board and adopting the rules.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries, passes. Okay. 6.5, agenda item 6.5, discuss, consider, and act upon one, establishment, dissolution, division, and/or reorganization of Alice boards, commissions, and committees, and 2, appointments, reappointments, removal, and/or term clarifications of appointments, vacancies, and/or memberships of the City of Alice boards, commissions, and committees. 3, approval of committee applications. 4, assign individual and/or adopt a process or outreach program to invite members of the public to apply to approve committees, reappointment members of the Building and Standards Commission. Okay? Mr. Esparza?
yeah, so we added this because there's some additional applications that came in for the library board, the Building and Standards Commission, and the Keep Alice Beautiful. And so Patrick and Yolanda are the ones that touch these boards, so if there's any question on those,
Well, I'm very pleased to see a lot of applications that came in. Thank you so much to our citizens that are wanting to serve on these committees or boards. Thank you so much. I saw a lot on the Keep Alice Beautiful Commission. We do have other commissions, so thank you so much. Mr. Chris?
Real quick, on the Keep Alice Beautiful that one there, is that appointed by us or by the mayor? Because I thought that was the mayor's board. Just so that we're all on the same page.
It was established by the mayor.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one falls on her to sign her board. I just wanted to be on the same page there.
And Patrick, you had somebody on the building and standards that you wanted to,
I have
That's
two
what-
applicants.
that's what I was gonna ask.
That are reappointments.
Yeah,
And
they're in here.
I did we get them the list of the board members? The building standards?
Yeah, no, the applications.
They're in
I
here.
gave, the ones that we just,
The
they
ones
just
we approved?
expired, right? These two expired?
Two of them that expired. It's a 5-member board with 4 alternates. We currently have 4 that are active, current appointments.
Did you need one?
So I need 1 to fill the 5 commission members, and then I need 4 for alternates. So there's 2 applicants,
There's 3.
3 applicants, okay.
3?
That's it. Yes, Ms. Sandra Salinas Trejo
Oh.
has that on there as well.
Oh, I didn't see it. Okay, yeah, I see it now.
When, in regards to this, I'd like to make a motion in regards to this commission. But if anybody has questions or anything first.
Before we move on, I wanted to ask, do we have the Keep Alice Beautiful, that is something that the mayor appoints? I thought it was something we all agreed on, but okay.
Mayor, let me tell you, that's something that we're gonna have to check on, because the originating ordinance, practice has been the mayor has made appointments to that board, to that
Okay.
commission. And so we
Yes.
can check the ordinance as the questions come up, and I do not have my computer in front of me. We can check if necessary, and we can bring it back.
Okay. Sounds good.
So then for that one.
So, Mr. Molina, any
No, I have no
questions?
questions.
Mr. Burke?
No questions.
Mrs. Bowen?
No, thank you.
Okay. So just to make it clear, we do have 3 applicants that are wanting to be on the building and standards, and 2 are already sitting on there and expired, or?
2 are expired
And-
members, yes.
And then 1 is just a brand new?
One's a brand new member.
Okay, okay.
And I have 1 vacancy on the regular board, and then 4 vacancies on the alternate board.
Okay,
And may I ask a question? I'm sorry.
sure.
The alternates, they attend the meetings as well,
So they attend in the absence of the regular commission members.
but they don't
So
have to attend every meeting?
They don't have to attend every meeting. If we know we're going to have a vacancy, we'll call on an alternate to attend the meeting.
And they only vote when when they're actually
They're
fulfilling the
actually-
position, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay, Mr., no other questions or discussion, I'll entertain a motion on this agenda item.
Mayor, I make a motion to appoint Mr. Danny Haygood to the full position on the board, and Amanda Friedrich, and as well as Sandra Salinas Trejo as alternates for the board.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, council. And in reference to the library boards, depending on clarification, then we'll look into that.
No, the
Is that-
library, no, the library board. we
I mean,
just-
I'm sorry, the Keep Alice, I'm sorry.
Keep Alice
Keep
Beautification
Alice
Commission.
Beautiful, okay.
But didn't we have more, is this all of the applications, or do we have a couple that were from earlier?
So you all wanted new applications, so these are the new applications.
Okay.
yeah, and so if you want to,
Because we only have 1 right now or 2 for the library board, right?
and we can bring back the other application for the library board and the ones that are here again with, y'all approve the
Buildings.
board and
The
the
rules,
rules,
yeah.
so we can get that together and bring it back next time for you guys.
And then we can just open it up and let people know right now. The library board is
Sign up.
gonna be firing back up. Get in line, help us out. Now that we have the rules and everything for y'all to review, you're good to go.
Applications
meeting.
online, so, or you can ask Cody for one.
And it needs 6 members.
We have 2 applicants currently right now that applied for the library board.
Yes.
And there's
And I
some
wanna
in
say
the,
I wanna say that there was a couple people that had interest before we did the new application. So we need to hopefully maybe reach out to them and get them involved again. So, and then I spoke to a lady at the school when we did the reading, Dr. Seuss thing, that she was interested, one of the educators there. So I think it'd be great. So I'll reach out to her.
Okay. So on this, then, for the library, the applicants that are here, we'll just bring it back? Okay.
We have enough to even make a meeting with just
Right,
the two of them
make a-
anyway.
Okay.
Can we clarify how many we have new for the library here, their names?
Just
There's
I-
two.
I just see, let me see.
There were two.
Mercedes Garza and Emiliano Wakeman. And Priscilla and Coach.
So there's three.
Oh, three.
I thought there was three, I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, well,
Because
the applic-
Priscilla is another one.
Why do the applications look different?
Sadie, Priscilla, and Emiliana? It's a pretty name, but I can't pronounce it. Okay.
Okay, yeah, there's three. I was looking at the top check, but one of them is on an older application, so the check is in a different place.
Okay, so there's three.
Okay. So we're good with six?
So we're going to wait to approve these then until,
So we at least
Next
have enough
month.
for them to have a meeting.
Yeah.
okay.
We're gonna bring those
Okay.
back, but the one, y'all did approve the other ones.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Everyone good? We'll move on to agenda item 6.6. Discuss, consider, and act upon a voting to suspend implementation of the planned effective date of the interim rate adjustment filed by CenterPoint Energy Resources Corporation, doing business as CenterPoint Energy NTEX and CenterPoint Energy Texas Gas under subsection 104.301 of the Texas Utility Code to establish the annual gas reliability infrastructure program, GRIP, interim rate adjustment IRA for the company's South Texas division that have ceded original jurisdiction to the commission. Okay.
This is your usual, and just like it says, gas reliability infrastructure program, this is where they petition to increase rates or notice to increase rates based upon issues or costs with the infrastructure. We don't get judicial determination on this, however, we can lodge statements or complaints with the railroad commissions. We're part of a coalition that does that. In actuality, we found out before the coalition that this was happening because when we go see our local CenterPoint guy, he actually brought it by to us and dropped it off before our attorneys knew about it in San Antonio. And generally, CenterPoint suggests that you go ahead and object to it because then it's going to get under administrative review. In the past, just in your all's objections, you've saved your constituency millions of dollars in regards to increased rates. And so staff and your legal department has suggested you approve the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Clement. Mrs. Bowen, any questions?
No, thank you.
Mr. Romber?
No, thank you.
Mr. Molina?
No question.
Mr. Chris?
No questions, thank you.
Okay.
Just, good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, if there's no further questions or discussion, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item 6.6.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Okay,
Second.
we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, council. 6.7, discuss, consider, and act upon adopting a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute on behalf of the city of Alice, Texas, at the appropriate time and with appropriate authorization of the city council, all contracts and agreements with the state of Texas represented by the Texas Department of Transportation, TxDOT, and such other parties as shall be necessary and appropriate for the design and construction of the hangar project at the Alice International Airport. B, the commitment of the city's half of the required 10% local match. And C, the city manager and staff to execute the certification of project funds and designation of sponsors, authorized representative. Mr. Esparza?
We got Barbara going to
Oh,
present
Ms.
this
Barbara, I
item.
didn't see, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. One of the criterion to be eligible for FAA federal funds for the capital projects at the airport is that we have a certain number of based aircraft
Oh, yes.
at the airport. As we worked on the airport layout plan or master plan last year with our engineering consultant and with our aviation planner, informed us that we had lost our standing with the FAA for those funds because we didn't have the number of based aircraft. Since that notification, Mr. Esparza worked diligently to get that number back up. He's entered the tail numbers of those based aircraft in the FAA database. In September, we'll find out from FAA if they accept what has been entered. In the meantime, we've talked with Office of Aviation, TxDOT, about the need for hangars at the airport, and that's one of the capital projects in the master plan as well. And as we talked with them, and they came and met with us in February, we discussed what funding we currently do have available, even though we don't have that standing. That standing has to do with FAA awarding general aviation airports $150,000 a year in non-primary entitlement funds, or MPE funds. Well, currently, we have banked with TxDOT 2019 and 2020 MPE funds. So we have banked $300,000 for a capital project. And in our discussions with Office of Aviation, we decided that the project that we'll discuss with you tonight is doable with that banked money and the local match, which would be 10%, which would be $33,000 split evenly between the city and the county. We do have the funds available in our airport improvement fund for the match. Generally, when you have a capital project with TxDOT, you go through their procurement process, which can be lengthy because of the number of projects they're administering. And their procurement process can also add to the cost, the overall cost of the project. So as we talked with Office of Aviation, we talked about going through local procurement process to secure an engineering firm for designing this project, this hangar project, and bidding it out, and then hiring a vendor to construct it. And they sent us the FAA circulars to follow. If those circulars are followed with our local procurement process, the project can remain eligible for reimbursement at the 90-10 using that pot of $300,000. But that's a process at the end. Using local procurement, the city and the county have to upfront the entire cost for the project. And then we just stay in touch with TxDOT as we go through this. We do have ICE Engineering acting as our city engineer through that master agreement that was executed a few years ago. We have talked with ICE Engineering about this project and about reviewing those FAA circulars and guiding us through local procurement following those circulars. They've agreed to that and given us a proposal to do that. We do have a meeting set up with them. It would be 2 engineers from ICE coming to meet with us Monday afternoon to go through those FAA circulars. What's in the packet for signature tonight will become part of the grant agreement with TxDOT for that $300,000. So the resolution that you have before you contains provisions about that grant agreement It also contains provisions about allowing us to follow local procurement and upfronting the cost. Mr. Sparza and Gabriel went to the aviation conference, and at that conference, they heard from other general aviation airports that instead of,
Here, let me do it for you.
okay, thank you. Instead of building T hangars, because we had originally talked with TxDOT about building an 8-nested T hangar or 6-nested, which with the design and construction cost would be over $1 million, which would take us several years to accumulate MPE funds to be able to afford T hangars. Well, in place of a T hangar, there's the Quonset hangar. This is one vendor.
What is it called again? I'm sorry.
Quonset.
Okay.
And from the information we've gotten from TxDOT and from the information from other general aviation airports attending the aviation conference, this is doable and more affordable. The hangar can be placed on a foundation or not. It can just be built on the ground. The last page is from our airport master plan. And if you look, I've got to get it. If you look at the dark blue and then the turquoise, that's where the proposed sites are for the hangars. And I believe we would start with the last one, the dark blue, which we initially thought might be a box hangar, but we would look to building the Quonset hangar there. And then Mr. Sparza and Gabriel have heard from some aircraft owners who may want to build their own Quonset hangar at the airport.
Very good.
So, our whole, one of the goals that we have is trying to get additional hangar space. And the hangars are expensive. Box hangars are expensive. T hangars are less expensive. You can fit planes, tighter in a T hangar. And that was going to be our goal. So part of this airport layout plan, the update that we've been working on for a couple of years, it takes at least 2.5 years, is to figure out how to get more space. We need to have this in plan to be able to get the funding. And so when we met with TxDOT, when they came in and flew in a month and a half ago or more, they brought up the Quonset hangars that there's one place in Waco, I believe that they have one already. And the big thing was whether they qualify for NPE funds or not, the non-primary entitlement funds. And, you have box hangars, T hangars, shade hangars, and Quonset hangars. And the shade hangars, apparently, FAA says that they do not qualify right now. And so these are very inexpensive in a way to get a place for people to house their planes. We need to have at least 10 planes housed at our airport to be able to qualify for federal funds. And we're at 11 right now, barely 11, and so we were at 8 before. And so we worked to get that number where we have it. And there's people that want to be in Alice. I have 3 people that have called me in the past 6 months asking for a hangar location. And so when you look at the hangar locations in the area, you have the Robstown Airport, which is in Oasis County, and you have a little landing strip in Sandia that people have some planes out there. And so when we went under 10, I'm like, how do we find some more planes? So I went and figured out who has, and with the help of Mr. Steve Finley as well, we looked and see who has planes in Jim Wells County. And some of the people that have planes, they house them at their place and they use the Sandia little running strip. They're smaller planes to be able to use. And so, but we were able to talk to some people that, to get our base aircraft numbers up. But our competition also is, the Robstown Airport or Rockport. Rockport has a waiting list. But some of the people that don't want to be there is because the hurricanes and being close to the salt. So there's 2 people, for sure 2 of them, that are on that waiting list that would come over here if they're able to build something or we had something available. So that's where we are. We need to have the hangar space at the airport to have people house planes. This is the way to do it, to be able to fit, 3 or 4 or 5 planes in one big Quonset hangar. And then as time moves on, the idea is that will be a temporary place for some of these planes that want to be in their own small T hangar. And so this is what we need to do first to be able to get our base aircraft numbers above the 11. I'd like to be at a comfortable number where somebody leaves, we don't run the risk of being non-qualified. And so this is a good project for us, and I think it fits. We've already done part of this apron out there with some ramp grant money. And so this is the next step is moving to this. Now, we're in a tight time frame.
Yes.
Talking to TxDOT, so the county approved this at their meeting on Monday. And, the way to get this done is, like Barbara said, it's reimbursement. We follow the guidelines, federal guidelines for the procurement. We can get reimbursed for it. And so that's what our plan is. And that was their recommendation also. They work a little bit slow, but they're going to work with us to try to get this done, to spend the 2019 money as quickly as we can to get this project underway. And they're very helpful. TxDOT has been very helpful with us.
You can only bank for 4 years, and the 219 will expire next spring, so that's why, we have to have it spent.
Right.
Okay.
So that's a primary driving factor for using local procurement.
Well, I appreciate you bringing this to us. Mr. Burke, do you have any questions? Okay. Mrs. Bowen?
I do have one question for Michael. Sorry, City Manager Michael. I know we're talking about the hangars, but what about, is there room for another helicopter pad out there, or is this going to affect any of that?
No,
I think we talked about something, didn't we, in the past about?
Well, right now, the gentleman that does the helicopter repair and also the fixed wing, he's needing some space as well, and that's why we were originally planning to get him over here on this box hangar, but the cost of the box hangar is no way we can get it done and still lease it to him. So we're looking at that for the Quonset, and we're trying to figure out another location for him, whether it's next door where we are, or whether it's the FBO hangar that they have. So he can expand. But on the landing side, we're working on the striping for a landing site for the helicopter. They do fuel up quite a bit, and so we striped at the airport. But we're getting the guidelines for the striping requirements for a helipad landing site that's closer to the fuel fill up, because they come over here and they do a lot of hot fueling, so they're still running when they're fueling, and that happens quite a bit.
Okay, good. I was just wondering because of the area there, I remember. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Barbara.
Mr. Chris? Mr. Molina? No? I just wanted to ask a couple of questions on how many, on this, what is the life expectancy on this type of building or hangar?
They have them both. I think they have, it was like 15 to 30. They have some material that's a 15-year and material that's like a 30-year. They last quite a bit. And they usually the military use them all across the world, put up temporary shelters. And their build quality is, they can move them also. So that's why they do them that way, and they're quick to put up.
Okay. And then you had said that some are anchored and some are not, or?
You can put some on, you can put them on foundations or not.
They're anchored.
They're anchored, okay. I wanted to make sure.
Some of them are on foundation, some of them
On foundation, okay, gotcha now.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. I was just, that went through my mind. I was like, what? So you have blow away before anyhow. Okay, so some are on foundation and some don't. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. And do we know how many other airports use this, or?
Right now,
several?
it's just that one in Waco. And
Okay.
the gentleman was there and presented to us. They put this thing up, and it was like a couple of weeks, I think is what
It
he
was a
said.
very short time period.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so council, if no other questions or discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute on behalf of the city of Alice, Texas, at the appropriate time and with the appropriate authorization of the city council, all contracts and amendments with the state of Texas, represented by the Texas Department of Transportation, known as TxDOT, and such other parties, and shall be necessary and appropriate for the design and construction of the hangar project at the Alice International Airport, and B, to the commitment of the city's half of the required 10% match, and C, the city manager and staff to execute the certification of project funds and designation of sponsors authorized representative.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very
so
much. Appreciate it.
Okay, agenda item 6.8, discuss, consider, and act upon entering into an interlocal agreement between Alice Police Department and Oasis County District Attorney's Office. Thank you, Chief.
Mayor, members of the council, city manager, and speaking to the district attorney's office, we want to work closely together. We do, as you know, have a agent that works out of the Corpus office, and so they've been working very close together with the district attorney's office, and it's a plus for us. You know, we can share in assets, but more it's in the criminal side of things and working and trying to take, whether it be burglars, drugs, it's all the same. The same people that are here going over there, people from over there coming over here. So we thought it'd be a good idea to come into an interlocal agreement between the district attorney's office and the Alice Police Department. Before I received the interlocal agreement, or before I presented it today to this council, I did meet with Mr. Lemon. I presented Mr. Lemon so he could review it. I did talk to Michael, our city manager, before, and so we thought it was a good idea. But I did present it to our city attorney to review and make sure it was okay before we proceeded.
Thank you.
So I'm asking this council to please act and consider applying.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. P. Chris?
I have nothing,
Any
thank you.
questions? Mr. Molina?
Hey, Chief. No, I'm good, thank you.
Mr.
I'm
Ron
good,
Bartlett?
thank you.
Mrs.
I have a
Bowen?
lot of questions.
Sure.
No, just
If you
kidding.
want to ask,
Just kidding.
answer.
You know, we're good, we're
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. So if there's no other questions or discussion, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mayor, I make a motion for entering into approval of entering into an interlocal agreement between the Alice Police Department and the Oasis County District Attorney's Office.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
We had a first and a second. Who's second?
Me.
Mr. Chris?
No, we both.
Miss-
Same, doesn't matter.
Oh, Mrs.
We both.
We all do.
Just put me down.
Just put me down.
It's rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank you.
bringing this before
Thank you.
council.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes. Thank you. Oh.
No, thank you.
Hey, Chief.
Okay. Thank you, council. Okay. Let's move on to agenda item 6.9. Here status report on February 2022 month-end financial statements, summary of funds, investment portfolio summary, investment quarterly reports, and delivery of February 2022 check registers.
Mayor, our interim finance manager is out today, but we,
If I may, that the report's been presented paper by paper, and that rather than having the city manager attempt, it's probably easiest just for you all to review the reports, and if you have any questions, to present them to Mr. Anzalua, as well as that if there are any questions about it, they are provided online, so the community could look at them and review them. And it's probably the best way to handle this issue. Rather than force Vanessa to get up here.
Oh, Vanessa will do a good job. She does a great job.
She did it for almost a year, right?
Yeah, she,
A little over.
okay, council, if you're okay with that, if all of you have reviewed our financial reports and stuff, if y'all have any questions or any,
Well, I just say refer questions to you.
to who?
Mr.
Okay. Well, alrighty then. well then,
Technically, in the charter, they just have to be presented.
okay. All right, well, thank you so much. I did review some of those and thank you. All right, then, we'll move on to agenda item number 7, the big one.
Mayor,
Adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. It's 5:46 PM. Thank you.
Thank you.